I'm Aaron Cox, and this is my Module 16 case study on parental apathy. The problem. What I know is that when we look at the assistant principal, Mrs. Rose, she is a first-year assistant principal. She's eager to improve the school community relations, and she's even just finished up with a school community relations college class, so obviously has knowledge of strategies that it takes to improve school community and wants to implement those. She has also talked to the principal to try to improve school community relations, but has not received a lot of support. When we look at the school community, I know that the school has very little involvement with parents or community, and parents have not had a lot of involvement in the PTA or volunteer work in the school, which is really the only two options that they've been given up to this point. The principal is the one that has tried to initiate parent involvement in the school. Like I mentioned, he's used the PTA and then also tried to get parents to volunteer. His strategies have not worked, and so he feels that parents are better off left alone. What I need to know is, when we look at the assistant principal, I want to know what her plan is to increase parent involvement. What does that look like? And then also, what communication channels is she most comfortable using? Because this is going to be helpful in knowing what communication channels she could use to connect with the community. Also, what are her plans as they apply to promoting school community relations and student success? This would help me understand her overall goal and how she wants to implement that. When we look at the school community, I want to know the size of the school and the community. Also, I want to know the demographics within the school. So what's the average age of the students, the economic status, any race statistics, and then the common languages. Same thing with the community. What are the demographics as far as age, economic status, race, and then language? Also, I would want to know the common forms of media used. Now, when we look at the principal, all the communication channels that the principal has used, and I know with the case study, we saw that he's used face-to-face, telephone communication, and then also letters sent home with the students to get to the parents. But what else has he used? Is that all? And I would also want to know any school board policies regarding school community relations within the school district, because obviously this could be helpful in establishing school community relations in the future. And then the third thing I would want to know, as far as when we look at the principal, is will principal give up some control and allow collaboration among the other administrators to try to improve school community relations? Because up to this point, it looks like he will not. The problem. I feel like the problem can best be broken up into short-term and long-term problems. With short-term problems, convincing the principal to go ahead and have the meeting. I understand that there's only 8 parents that showed up, but it's very important that you try to capitalize on what you already have set up, and that is an opportunity to try to find out what parents want to do as far as getting involved in the school, and so you have to take advantage of that opportunity. The long-term problems would be increasing parent involvement in the school to promote the academic success and well-being of all students, and then also creating a meaningful relationship between the school and the community. Both of these problems are things that are going to take time and are going to be a work in progress. So we'll get to how we will accomplish and overcome those problems. First of all, the plan of action. I broke it up into 9 steps. Step 1 would be convincing the principal to go ahead and have the meeting. Like I mentioned earlier, it's important that we capitalize on the opportunity. We have some parents in front of us I know it's not many, but we need to come up with a reason for them to listen, and then also try to get some meaningful information from them that can relate to establishing those parents' school relations. Step 2, I would give the principal a couple of questions to ask based on the facts and what we have in this case study. The principal really either has a lack of knowledge or isn't real comfortable in knowing how to get parent involvement. Mrs. Rose, we know that she just came from school community relations class, so I'm sure she would know some good questions to ask to find out key information from parents. So the 2 key pieces of information I would hope she would find out is, number 1, what communication channels are most effective and used by the parents. That way we know how to connect to the parents moving forward. And then also find out what the parents would get involved in. We know that they don't want to get involved in PTA or school services as far as helping out in the school. So what are some other things that they would be willing to do? The best way to find out is to ask. Step 3 would be to record the information. I would make sure I would get the information down myself. That way I can use it to guide our future school parent relations planning. Step 4, I would develop a variety of communication channels. The diversity of the community and parents means that we have to have a number of different communication channels in order to connect to as many parents and community members as possible. Step 5, I must collect parent feedback through a variety of mediums. Similar to communication, you want to provide a variety of different opportunities, be able to get that feedback and understand what parents are thinking and what they want to do. This creates some ownership and some buy-in. Step 6, form a parents advisory group. We already have a number of parents that want to get involved, so I would use those parents and get them turned into advisors for the school. Step 7, need to collect and analyze ideas for parent involvement. So those ideas just can't come from me. I need to work collaboratively with the principal, there's other administrators, and then also parents in the community to come up with ideas that will work and that people want to get involved in. Step 8, start and develop a relationship between the school and parents. To increase parent involvement, I would use activities that revolve around the students. And we would want to start simple. For example, an easy, effective way would be through school showcase. Open up the school to the community and to parents, where we show things that students are doing in classes and in extracurricular activities. Step 9, the end goal would be to start and develop a relationship between the school and the greater community. This is something that, like I mentioned earlier, will take time and is going to take some practice as well. There's going to be mistakes that are made on both ends, but learn from it, and in the end, be able to establish that beneficial bond between the students, the school, and the community. Solution for student success. Obviously, student success is the most important. So what's best for the students? That would be, number 1, to develop parent involvement that includes student participation. You're going to get parents to buy in if it revolves around their student. Same thing with stakeholders. They're going to be more involved if it is for students in the school. The second solution for success would be to develop community involvement that benefits all students in the community. And third would be to develop school community relations that are best for student success and well-being. These last 2 solutions fit with PSEL standards 4 and 7, and will definitely build those strong school community relations. All right, category 4, what was I thinking, feeling, and valuing? I was thinking that the principal has not tried very hard. Like I mentioned earlier, it could be due to his lack of knowledge, or possibly even his frustrations, like was mentioned in the case study. But he has to find a variety of ways to communicate with parents, and also a variety of ways to get that parent involvement. And I don't feel like he's done that. I was feeling frustrated for the assistant principal. Obviously, she has the knowledge of what it takes to build school community relations that are effective, and she's being held back, so I was frustrated for her. I value and understand the importance of parent support and involvement. I've taught at schools that have been on both sides. Last year I taught at a high school that didn't have a lot of parent involvement, so I saw that student engagement in the classroom and in extracurricular activities was not as good as it could be. This year I'm at a school that has a lot of parent involvement and support, and it's the opposite. We have a ton of student engagement in extracurricular activities, and more importantly in the classroom, and that has led to high student success and well-being. Category 4, what issues are still unresolved? When we look at the assistant principal, some questions I would ask is, will Mrs. Rose be allowed to continue the meeting and begin to expand on parent community involvement? When I look at the principal, will the principal be open to other avenues of parent involvement? The parents in the community, will parents get involved in their students' activities? And will the community get involved in school activities and partnerships? These are questions that we still don't have the answer to, but obviously through categories 2 and 3 and implementation, I feel we would be able to solve these questions and get positive school, student, parent involvement. All right, category 5, promotion of student success. I would start by developing a variety of communication channels. Earlier I mentioned how important that is. If you have a variety of communication tools, then you're going to be able to connect to more people, which obviously is beneficial in a diverse community. The second thing would be to develop a variety of parent involvement opportunities that center around student learning and achievement. You have to have different opportunities to get parents involved, and it must focus around their child. That's going to create parent engagement and parent buy-in, and also be beneficial to the students. Category 5, promotion of student well-being. We have to increase parent knowledge of the school environment and policies. If parents know what's going on in the school and the school rules that fit, once again, it's going to increase that buy-in, that engagement, and building off of that, give the parents a voice in their students' education. So allow them to have a little bit of say in the school environment and policies. And finally, promotion of community engagement. It's important to create opportunities that allow the community to use the school and see student success and well-being. So open houses, school showcases, school activities. These are an opportunity to bring in people from outside the school and stakeholders and show them, what the school is all about, and allow them to see student success. And the last thing would be to create and implement policies that ensure fair use of the school facilities by the community. And this is going to provide for those meaningful connections between the school and the community. Since it is a public school, the public should have access. All right, that is the end of my case study, parental apathy. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.